Welcome to the NFL. Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome in. Jeremy Popielarz here with you. As always, we have reached week 4 in the fantasy football season here. We are ready to dive into those start-sit questions. Now, we have some pretty exciting things. We got the Dublin game going on right now. DK Metcalf going off. Hopefully not on your bench. Maybe not. You know, that's how that works. Hopefully you got Jaylen Warren out of your lineups prior to the start of the game, as he was a little bit of a late inactive as far as that goes. But we are here to talk about the start-sit questions that you have here in week 4. It's an exciting week for sure on tap. We have plenty of decent matchups ahead for us. We should have some definitely good fantasy performances this week as well. So I'm excited to dive into that. We have some players we should probably be being a little patient on that exploded last week that have had a rough start to the fantasy season. But either way, normal housekeeping, pretty simple. If you're on YouTube, just drop the comments in. If you're on Twitter or you're watching it, make sure you go to the FTN Fantasy feed as opposed to mine, or whichever way. That way I can pull the questions up. If not, if you do see this in the start-sit thread, you can drop it in there as well. I monitor that throughout it as well. So some simple things here for us to get the housekeeping out of the way. So let's get to some of these questions here. And we can get this thing rolling and get some answers for y'all and hopefully get some fantasy wins this week. Whether you're 0-3, 0-4, it's big difference. But 0-3, we're definitely not out of it here. We gotta try and get to that first win, though. And hopefully we can get there this week. All righty. Last but not least, we're going to start it off on that Twitter thread here until we start getting some real good questions rolling in. We had some people prior to the show dropping them questions in here. So until I start to see David or Eric here, once I see you guys are in here a little bit, we'll toss those questions in there. But good morning, David, as always. So I'll be excited, David. You let me know when you're here, and we'll run through your questions because you got those in prior to the show. But either way, Cody over on X, we've got really needing a wide receiver or win today at 0-3, much like we said. Have Lamb and Daniels on IR. Blah blah blah. Biggest question probably whether should I start BTJ? If so, let's see here. So he's got Brian Thomas on the bench, Henderson, Judkins, HN. Maybe over T-Mac. I don't really love Brian Thomas Jr. today. I think it's at this point we got to ride out with the struggles at the quarterback position. Definitely has a tough matchup against the 49ers defense that's been pretty stout against the receiver position. So not sold on Brian Thomas Jr., but maybe I'd play him over McMillan considering Christian Gonzalez is going to be back. That would be probably my easiest route, at least in that roster there, Cody. Wonder Bread on X, Godwin or Shakir, we'll just hammer this one out quick, is Godwin. David, like to see you. Jettas or Mason touchdown second half? Mason touchdown and a Jetta. I'll take both, David. We'll get to your questions here in 1 second. Corey, trainer, we got Nita Flex, half PPR, Bill Krosky, Merritt, Coleman, or Shaheed. I would go Keon Coleman here. Krosky Merritt's in a full-blown committee. Not about trying to guess which one's going to go off this week. So I'm going to go with Coleman here. Shaheed's interesting. Obviously, the Bills have struggled against receivers as well as tight ends, and they're going to have to throw the football, considering if all goes as well, the Bills should be pretty far ahead in this game at some point. So I'm going to say Coleman. I do think he has a good game, though, a little bit more reliable than Shaheed has been with the quarterback position. Corey as well, I would go Patrick Mahomes. Baltimore's always a scary defense to see on the other side of the field, but they have been giving up a decent amount in the passing game. They get Xavier Worthy back, and it's going to be probably a little bit more of a back-and-forth type of game. So I'm a little bit more in on Mahomes than Drake May. I do like May this week, but I do lean to Mahomes by the very few chin hairs that I have on my chin. Ben Cleveland, have to pick 2, Devontae, Odunze, AJ Brown, or Brian Thomas. So Devontae Adams for sure is in, and Romo Dunze would be for me here, Ben. Those are my 2 highest ranked wide receivers this week. Decent matchup against Indianapolis for Devontae, and Odunze gets the Raiders, which is not the worst of matchups. They've been a little bit tougher than years past, but still a pretty favorable matchup for Odunze. I think that Vegas Bears game is going to be an interesting back and forth, so I'm going to go there, avoiding Brian Thomas Jr. and AJ Brown this week. Cheers, Corey. All right, David. We got a plethora of questions, so we're gonna fire this up here, David. BTJ and Genty or Scattaboo and Pickens rest of the season. I would probably go honestly Scattaboo and Pickens. I mean, I think nah. I'm going to ride out BTJ and Genty. I think that stuff comes back around, especially Ash and Genty. Brian Thomas Jr., I don't think you're going to get what we got for the draft capital, but I do think that he's going to get better at some point. Some drops, some accuracy stuff. So not too crazy with that. Marvin Harrison Jr., not worried at all. I'm not. I believe in Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, it's a little bit of that mental side of the game, something Brian Thomas Jr. is dealing with. We've seen it. Xavier Legette was talking about it a little bit. Obviously, different tier player, but I think Harrison will be fine. I think he's going to come around. We gotta just give him some time. I know it's not nice to hear, but that's where I would be at with Marvin Harrison. Need one flex wide receivers are McMillan, Jennings, James C. Tutton, Tillman. I have Tet and Larson. I don't love the matchup for Tet against Gonzalez. Obviously, just mentioned to potentially pull him off of Ryan Thomas Jr. I still like McMillan. Like, I'm fine starting him, but I'm not like overjoyed. So, if anything, I would maybe pivot to Jennings here, David. But I'm not excited to put any of those players in either. So, I'd probably ride the upside and draft capital of McMillan and just, die by the sword, I guess. James, happy Sunday. It is. It's a Sunday. We're excited. We got football on already. That's always fun, the family's doing well as well, James. Thank you. Appreciate it. 4 flex, half PPR, Tucker, Franklin, McNichols, Dowdell. Pick one. I'm probably going to go with Trey Tucker here. That's probably the most likely to have like an explosion game. Dowdell's interesting considering the Hubbard news and injury throughout the week. But I think it's going to be too messy. Like, Dowdell may score. He may have a good week, but it's too hard to predict that. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out. Same thing with McNichols. I do like McNichols, but until we have some condensing of that backfield and figuring out exactly what it's going to be, I'm too afraid to start any of them. Tucker's been hot lately, and I'm going to roll with that against a Bears secondary that's been pretty weak. And I mean, the Raiders are throwing football all over the yard, and so are the Bears. So I expect kind of a similarity there for that. So I'd go with Trey Tucker. Jake, Juwan Johnson, Olave, or DJ Moore. I would go with either of the Saints here, Jake. I lean to probably Olave. I just think he'll probably be targeted a little bit more, has a little bit of an easier matchup in the secondary. Johnson's going to have a pretty good day as well, I would think. Milano likely going to be nursing if he's playing at all, which is a big part to the Barrels' passing attack defense for tight ends. So I think Johnson has a good day as well, but I think Olave could have a bigger day. So I would probably swing a little bit with Olave with a still safe floor of plenty of targets. Shane, play one, Neighbors, Scattaboo, Paracel, play. So that first one would be Neighbors. Definitely not playing Malik Neighbors. Play one, Hubbard and Paracel would be Ricky Purcell. Hubbard injury, a little concerning. Like, I'm not benching him per se, but Paracell's a good option to pivot to, so I would go that route. Crafter Strange, don't love either. I lean to, I guess, Brenton Strange, just healthy. I think T-Law's not going to have much time to throw. Going to see a little bit of the dump off stuff, similar to what we saw. I think Strange will see 5-6 targets. Maybe he sneaks in the end zone. I know San Francisco's a tough matchup for tight ends, so not ideal. But I also don't see Kraft. I still think Kraft's more hurt than they've let on thus far. So I don't know if he's going to be superly involved in that passing attack in a game that the Packers probably don't need to, unless it goes a little differently, much like last week. Wouldn't need to use him. You saw him not get used much against Cleveland either. So I lean to Strange a little bit there by the nose hair that I have. And then as far as your stream for quarterback, I would go Marcus Mariota, Shane. I was thinking about Jennings, but reported that even though he's playing, expect to be limited. Yeah, see, so I'd probably roll with just Tet there, David. Just not the best matchup, but I don't hate it enough to pull T-Mac just yet. And Gonzalez's first game back, too, so we don't even know. Is there a chance that he's limited a little bit as well? Or exactly how he's going to be deployed in this likely does shadow McMillan, but you also said, where were we there? Also need to flex out of that too, so let's pull that back up. I would roll with probably Tillman. David would be my play there. Let's see here. Oh, wrong buttons. Okay, sorry about that. Whoa, gonna sneeze. You're welcome, Shane. Oh, sorry about the sneeze. All right, Ben. Need one pick for flex: Worthy, Swift, Golden, or Pittman. I'm gonna go Xavier Worthy. Shoulders concerning. Obviously, we saw him go down there in week 1, but it seems like he's fairly healthy. I don't think they'd put him out there if they didn't need to. So I'm gonna go with Worthy. Good matchup against the Baltimore secondary that's struggling right now. Shane, you're welcome. Corey, another one. Dynasty Superflex, pick 2, May, Nix, or Fields. I don't think it's super tough. Honestly, it's Drake, May, and Fields. Now, it doesn't seem tough to me at the moment. Doesn't mean that it's going to be right. But I do lean to May and Fields pretty easily there for you today, Corey. Chase, London for rest of the season. Would you look to trade one of them or see if they return to form? I'm probably riding it out, James. I mean, you could toss a few feelers out there. See if you could kind of address one of your weaker positions. Maybe you got a weaker running back room or tight end room and try to address it. But I feel like I'm just going to kind of ride that out personally. All righty. Let's see where our questions left off on Twitter. All right, Travis on Twitter, David Montgomery or Henderson. I would go Henderson there. Kavothis on X, Purdy or Dart. Yeah, Purdy. Not starting Dart today against that Chargers defense. Robbie, Jacoby Myers or Chuba Hubbard is going to be Jacoby Myers. Will on X, one more, Chase Brown, Judkins or Scattaboo. I'd go Quinshon Judkins. I have faith in Judkins this week. David Laporte is available to pick up. I have Johnson and Kittle on IR. Drop options are Burrow, Jones, Tillman, Tutton. Worth grabbing them. Probably not, David. I mean, you already got Johnson, Kittle. Like when Kittle comes back, I don't want to play that matchup at tight end. The matchup game between Kittle and Laporta. You're gonna guess wrong. More than right, even with my help. So once Johnson's your fill-in till Kittle's back, and then once Kittle's back, you're just going to play him. So no, don't waste the time, David. Nick Chubb or Chuba Hubbard for Ray Del Valencia. That's closer. I'd probably go Chuba Hubbard here. Good matchup for Chubb. Potentially falls in the end zone. But I think I'm going to ride Hubbard. I know there's some injury concern. But I think against New England, I think he'll be all right. And then Geno Smith or Bo Nix. I'm going to go Geno Smith here. Sounds a little wild, right? But he's been playing well. putting up some fantasy points, gets a really good matchup against the Bears and what should be kind of a shootout type of game. Bo Nix has a good matchup against Cincinnati, but you can also run on Cincinnati, so there's a good chance that we see a little bit more running from Bo Nix's offense than you do from the Raiders with Geno Smith. So I'm going to ride Geno Smith. Kenny Watts on X, Jacoby Myers or Quinshon Judkins. I would go Myers there. And then, yes, grab Geno over Goff. Mad Max, pick 3, full PPR. Genty, Kamara, Javante, Cam, Scadaboo, Chase Brown, or Judkins. So we got Genty, Judkins, and Kamara would be my 3 there. Mad Max. Christopher on X, ETN, BTJ, or Golden, Godwin, or Ridley. Chris, I would roll Golden in that situation, and then I would still ride Ridley. Not really looking to start Godwin in certain matchups, maybe. Not really looking to start him on his first week back in, so kind of just going to hold off a bit there. DJ, Kamara, Lad, or Tet. I think I'll go Kamara there for you, DJ. Kenneth on X, Ricky or ETN would be Ricky Pearsall. Don't like the matchup for ETN. Let's see here. Drop Dak for Geno or Mariota. I mean, I would if it's just for. Don't mind it. I'm not going to start Geno the rest of the season here, JD, but I would drop Dak to start Geno today here, JD. Look at that. Convenient. I was just answering the question on Twitter and you re-asked it here, JD. Yeah, so this will be easier. I could explain it a little bit better. So, much like I said, if it's for the weekly fill-in, sure, I'm fine starting Geno, but I'm not going to drop him as like a rest of the season type of player. So I'd like to potentially drop somebody else and add Geno and then play Geno over Dak. But that would probably be the only route that I would go. I think Dak will be bouncing back in the short term here. It's just not a good matchup against Green Bay. I'm excited to see this game, though. I don't know if Dallas comes out and really pushes it to say, hey, Micah Parsons, look what you left. And then also, Micah's going to be going hard to bury the Dallas offense. So it's going to be an interesting game. So I don't love Dak. Let's just put it that way. Don't have, David, that does clean it up. Also, David, I have noticed when there are early games, the traffic slows down. Who's going to watch me over the NFL football? Like, honestly, let's be real. Fantasy Burner, thanks. Hopefully GD5, hopefully Daniels is back. He's in a league that I'm struggling to find wins, and Daniels not being there is not ideal. I'm starting Carson Wentz, and that's not going the greatest right now here in Dublin. So Fantasy Burner, thanks. But to your question, Kraft is my tight end, but as by week 5, pick up Fannin or Gaddison. I would go Fannin. The Gaddison hype's fun. I like it. I liked Gaddison coming out, but not jumping on it a ton there until we see a little more. Matthew Kirk or Troy Franklin. I'm going to go Christian Kirk. Positive usage. I know the points weren't there last week, but Christian Kirk, I think, is ready for a pretty big bounce back. Daniel Jones or Mayfield. I would go Baker Mayfield for Megan, and then Pacheco or Henderson would be Henderson. We're not making that Pacheco mistake again here, Megan. Not happening. He's on the bench for eternity. Just cut him. Honestly. Roll on Bo Nix or Justin Fields. Easy 7-1-4. What is up? Pick one full PPR. Godwin, Golden, Tucker. Ooh. So for me, it's between Golden and Tucker. I get Chris Godwin coming back. Exciting. No Mike Evans. But let's be patient with Chris Godwin. Let's not shove him right in the lineup just yet. So Golden, good matchup against Dallas. I like that spot. Trey Tucker as well. I think both of these guys could explode this week. I'm probably going to lean a little bit to Golden just based on the matchup and the better pedigree at quarterback with Love. I wouldn't say necessarily play because Geno's been playing decent, but yeah, I think Matthew Golden has a pretty big day today. So I'll go there easy 7-1-4. Ben Cleveland, Judkins or Swift. I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins. I know it's a tougher matchup against Detroit, but we saw a tough matchup against Green Bay and he balled out. So I'm, pretty much just going to ride that for now. What's up, River? Have to choose flex options between Ibuka, AJ Brown, Kyron, and Keenan. So I'm guessing maybe 2 would be my guess, River. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I would be doing Kyron Williams and AJ Brown would be my 2, River. Oh, just 1. Okay. Kyron then. Yep, Kyron Williams for me. David Mooney or Shepard. Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually gonna go Shepard. Yeah, Shepard. Close. I thought more was gonna be of Darnell Mooney, but that Falcons defense or offense is a little bleh right now. So I'm gonna avoid the bleh and go with at least a decent offense in Tampa Bay. I think Shepard has a decent role. Probably 4 or 5 targets. If there's a chance he gets in the end zone too. That's what you're kind of hoping on for both of these guys. So John Mariota or Stafford? Mariota. I'm guessing with a 4-point passing touchdown, you also probably have 6-point rushing touchdowns, which good chance Mariota finds the end zone. So I'm going to go there. Mariota. Michael, need to Ladd, Adams, Allen, Judkins, or London. Drake London and Devontae Adams for me. Still 2 top 20 wide receivers for me. Allen's intriguing, but at some point it feels like the wheels are going to fall off a bit. It's going to be a Ladd game or QJ. It's a big guessing game. So I'm going to go with the receivers. I do like Judkins. Just talked about him a little bit ago, but Adams and London both are top 15 guys for me this week. So I'm going to go there. John Ward, pick 2, Ibuka, Scottaboo, Pickens, and Henderson. Pickens for sure. And then I'll go Henderson. I don't love Cam Scottaboo today. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be totally. But definitely don't love the spot for him. The Chargers have been pretty good against the running backs. They've been per touch, been not as ideal as you'd love. But overall, they've been decent against running backs. Add in Dart, and maybe the offense not moving a ton. I also don't expect Dart to check down a ton. He's not the same as Russell Wilson. So I think some of the 8 targets we saw last week comes back down to more towards the 4 to 5 territory, maybe even less. So I just like Pickens and Henderson. I think the writing's been a little bit on the wall for Henderson. Hopefully he can not fumble and stay on the field this week, unlike Stevenson did last week. But yeah, I'm going to go Pickens and Henderson, John. Jamie, flex Pickens, Golden, Worthy, or Henderson. I'll go Pickens. And in this instance, I'm going to go Golden over Henderson. Close. Even Worthy's interesting, but I'm going to mitigate the injury risk that Worthy has with that shoulder and just go Pickens and Golden here, Jamie, because Golden and Worthy are close for me. So that's where I'm going to go with Pickens and Golden. Ray, how are we concerned with BTJ enough to send him out and start T-Mac? Yeah, I would. Personally, wrote him up on my Substack beyond the talk about the BTJ as a sit. Like, I have him ranked pretty low as well over at FTN. I don't love it. It's a combination of potentially risk injury, poor quarterback play, now facing a really good defense in the 49ers. This isn't the week to get right. Maybe it is, but it doesn't seem like the predictive territory to be a get right game for Brian Thomas Jr. So yeah, I would definitely sit Purcell or sit BTJ over Purcell or even T-Mac, whichever you choose. I'm going Purcell because I think it's the same game, a little bit easier matchup than Mac will have against Christian Gonzalez. So that's where I'm going. Michael on X, Chubb or Jake Ferguson. I'll go Chubb there. I do like Ferguson today, but a little bit there. Rachel on X, Devontae Smith or Jameson Williams would be Devonta Smith. Mike, non-PPR, 2 of 4. Who you're starting? Pearsall, Higgins, Worthy, and Golden. I will go Pearsall and Golden. MW3 on X PPR League. I need a flex between Thornton, Gordon, Downs, or Woody Marks. I would go Josh Downs here. Frederick on X. Who do I flex? So we got Golden. Keenan Allen's in. Golden. We're going to leave Keenan Allen. No problem, Michael. Anytime. I got more questions. I'll be here. I'll be here for majority of the morning. 1 hour at least left. It's 11:30 now, so we're going to start getting those inactives, which is exciting. Always fun time. Gentleman K, standard scoring, Shakir, A.O. Manor, or more. I would go DJ Moore there. Drake May or Bo Nix for Joe T. I would go Drake May. Ransom himself, Pickens, Pearsall, JMO, London, full PPR. Yeah, I know you say you have Dak. That's not why I'm picking Pickens, but I still would go George Pickens. Taducci guy on X, Fields or Bo Nix would be Justin Fields. Philly cheesesteak. What it is, I like that. Need 2. Johnson, McMillan, Jennings, BTJ. Need 1 of Harvey or Woody Marks. So I would go QJ and McMillan, and then Harvey. Oop, that's caps lock. Harvey over Woody Marks. Booper on X, Bill, Ridley, Wandell, or Woody. I'm going to go Ridley. Very close, but I will go to Ridley there. R on X, pick 2 of A.O. Manor, Worthy, Godwin, Mooney, and Kraft. So Worthy and I guess we'll go Godwin here. As much as I like Alec A.O. Manor, this does not seem like the week against Houston for him to be the greatest. So I think we'll go with Chris Godwin here. RD on X. Pick 1 for my flex. Higgins, Jamo, or Tutton. Also, would you drop Brian Robinson for Corum? I'm going to go Jameson, I guess, for your flex. And then, yeah, I would do that. Then I would drop. Big Ham on X. Adams, London, or a Buka. Need to start 2. Adams and London. What's up, Gil? PPR, Golden, Higgins, Kraft, Tyler Warren. Need 1 tight end and 2 times the flex. Tyler Warren's in for tight end for me, for sure. 100%. And then my flexes would be the Packers. I'm not in on T. Higgins, so Golden and Kraft. Pretty simple there for me. Tyreek or Keenan Allen. I would go Tyreek there. Amanda on X, Andrews or Fannin. I would go Fannin. Cleveland on X, Worthy or Travion Henderson. I don't mind Worthy there. Let's see here. J-Das, Mac, Etienne, Moore, Brian Thomas Jr. DJ Moore for me. Paul Lopez, real quick. Abuka Sutton or McConkey need to sit 1. I would sit Ladd. Which segues into Aaron's question here, Ladd, Pollard, or Sutton. I'm going to go with Tony Pollard. I like the spot for him this week. I think he could find the end zone. Have a pretty big game there against Houston. They've been pretty weak against the running backs. Defensively, they've been pretty stingy at the wide receivers. So I think the formula to the Titans pulling an upset would be Pollard getting involved pretty heavily. So Marcus, Superflex League, should I start? Dart against the Chargers. Marcus, I don't know who else you're playing or options are. I wouldn't suggest it. I am ranked outside the top 20, so I would definitely probably be leery. Maybe it's your quarterback too. Obviously, super flex, like that's what you're kind of going between. Maybe. I don't know who else you have as options though. Purcell or Worthy or ETN. Oh yeah, if Fields is your other contention player, I would play Fields over Dart for sure. Purcell or Worthy would be pure sell for me. ETN's not involved with it for me here. I don't love the matchup for him. J-Mac, I would take Fields over Bo Nix. I like the matchup for him against Miami. We've seen the running quarterbacks usually have a decent day against Miami. And Bo Nix, I think there's be more running than passing. Was never super high on Bo Nix coming into the season. So solid quarterback. Just don't think that he's like better than Justin Fields at this point for fantasy. So Ridley or Kirk PPR. I'm going Kirk as well, Gil. I know you're leaning there, and I'll lean with you. I think there was pretty positive usage for him last week. He's going to be a key part to this passing attack and kind of getting it going for CJ Stroud, who can hardly stand upright for more times than not. So I do expect a little bit more involvement this week, 1 week in now further from the injuries. So I would go Kirk for sure there over Ridley. Ben, who would have thought you would have been saying Baker or Daniel Jones a few months ago? Not many of us. But yeah, I'm going to go Baker here. Daniel Jones against the Rams, not ideal. Baker, I know it's tough against Philly, but Philly can be thrown on. And I think Baker can get that job done there. So I'm going to go with Baker. John, Olave, or Henderson, I would go Olave. I think he's in a spot for a lot of targets. Saints should be playing from behind for a majority of this game. So yeah, I mean, we've seen him get peppered with targets, so I expect much of the same here this week. They love K5 on X, Judy, JMO, or Higgins. I think Judy's the safest play, but I think I'd go Jameson. Big play potential against Cleveland defense that's stingy, so you're looking for that big play, and Jameson, I think, could give it to you, a guy that can score on one play or get a huge play and kind of give you a decent amount of fantasy points off of low volume. Would be Jameson. That's where I'm looking against Cleveland, so that's probably where I would go. Joel on X, Fields or Geno. I would go Fields. Fannin or Gaddison would be Fannin. We got a whole list here, folks, so bear with me. Colts or Patriots for defense would be New England. Pick 2 to start. Chase Brown, Pollard, or Judkins would be Pollard and Judkins. And then pick 2 to start, Chase Brown, Montgomery, or Chuba. Brown and Hubbard. Okay. Randy on X, Kelsey or Ferguson. I would go Kelsey. Blue Light Baron, half PPR flex, Keenan Allen or Tyreek. I would go Tyreek. Sean Knox, pick 2, Flowers, Olave, and Golden. Flowers and Olave for me. Who should I roll with as my number 2 wide receiver? Thornton, Burden, Shakir, or Ridley? I'll go Shakir there. Taquan Thornton, I think, has a big downtick in usage now that Worthy's back. So buyer beware with Taquan Thornton. Not necessarily a guy I'm running to start. So Alicia Barron, start 2 full PPR, QJ McMillan, Hunter, or Tyreek. That's tough. So QJ and Tyreek would be my 2. Will Turner, 0729, Pollard, or ETN would be Pollard. Start 2, bench 1 wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., DJ Moore, and Chris Olave. I'd probably sit DJ Moore here. I'd actually start Brian Thomas Jr. Doesn't sound great, but Josh Allen or Jordan Love. So basically saying he thinks easy blow-up game against New Orleans and Love playing horrible Dallas. So long story short, to save it for the people who have no horses in the race, Josh Allen over Jordan Love. Even though it's a potential blow-up game, don't care. Still riding Josh Allen. Never bench him. You rolling with Jennings or BTJ? I would go Brian Thomas Jr. All right, Survivor. 1 retrieve, but you lose 3 random teams. 8-4 got revived last week. I'm still good going Cards, Rams, Seahawks. Thinking Texans this week because this might be the best week to take them. This is not the best week to take them, David. No. I would go the safe route, like you mentioned here, with the Chargers. That's where I'm going to go. The Bills are safe too, but my strategy with Survivors, I like to save the consistent better teams for when the tough times begin. And we're still in the non-tough times. You have the upsets every now and then that get you, but you still have some favorable matchups and some easy matchups out there. So take the layup for now. So yeah, I would go Chargers for sure. Z on X, Commanders or Dolphins defense. I'll go Washington. THD, Tet, Chuba, or Johnson paired with Herbert. I'll go QJ there. Santos, Frias, Chase, or Allen. I'm going to go Jamar Chase. No point am I benching Jamar Chase. I don't care how bad it gets. Just not doing it. Henderson, Moore, or Jennings would be Henderson for the Thirst Brave. Coinhead, Hunter Henry, Kirk, or Keon for flex. I'll go Kirk, and then I don't know what these other words are, so I'm just going to pick. If I'm being honest. Weird abbreviations from Coinhead. Oscar, what's up? Need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Debo, Chase, Scatterbo, Brees, Pickens, Olave. Okay, 2 wide receivers and flex. So Pickens and Chase are in. Much like I just said, I'm not benching Jamar Chase. Don't care. Just not happening, Oscar. And then my flex would be Olave. Brees Hall is interesting if you have a preference to running back, wide receiver. But I think Chase, Pickens, and Olave will probably be your 3 highest scorers here. Brees is intriguing, though. Ben, Cleveland, Baker, or Fields, 6-point passing touchdowns, 1 point or 10-point rushing touchdowns. Ben plays on Yahoo, I bet. I have a league like that. It's a pain in my butt. Taking Fields, 100%. Daniel, Dak Prescott, or Geno long term. Dak, Daniel. I mean, I don't mind playing Geno this week. Long term, though, I think Prescott's your better option. Yeah, well, I mean, betting places, David, like to do weird things. Okay. Last I saw, I didn't think does the spread change that much. I thought the Chargers were pretty heavy favorites. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. 5.5. 5.5. Where's the Houston game? Oh, there it is. Oh, David, it's 1 point. Gosh, Dave. 5.5 and 6.5. That's basically the same thing. It's not because they're different, but basically the same. Yeah, no. I still think the Chargers are safer. Anyways, Michael Scarn, welcome into the show, Michael Scarn. A.O. Manor, Thornton, or Tutton. I'll go A.O. Manor there. I don't like any of the three. Michael Scarn. I'm sorry. Hate to break it to you. Kenny Watts. That was just a thank you. You're welcome. Toby, play 3. London, Odunze, Tet, or Purcell. I would sit Tet there. Godwin in his first game back or Thornton. Yeah, we're going Godwin because I Taquan Thornton. Not sure what's going to happen there. Tony, start 2. Tyler Warren, Scatterbo, Judkins, Henderson, BTJ. So I'll go Judkins and Warren. William May or Daniel Jones would be Drake May. Tucker, Chubb, or Golden. I will go Trey Tucker. Flock, I'll go Golden. I lied. Don't mind me. Brandon. Brian Dable. Warren out. Connor and I are pickup. Corum, Dowdle, Rodriguez Jr., and McNichols. I would go Rodriguez. Nope. Gill. Playing Fields and Geno, sitting Baker, 4-point touchdown. Sitting Baker feels weird, but right thing to do. Yeah. I know. Feels weird, but yeah. I have both Geno and Fields ranked as top 12 quarterbacks this week, so yeah. I would do it. I'd do it, Gill. Sounds weird, feels weird, but sometimes the weird things are right. Volsticks, start 1 at flex, Pollard, Javonte, Judy, or more. I would go Tony Pollard. I know Javante's been solid throughout the rest of the last beginning of the season. But Pollard's got a good matchup against Houston. It's not great, but it's good. Much better than Javonte against Green Bay. Daniel need 1 Dobbins or Judkins. Ooh. Let me refer. I feel like I have them really close off the top of my head. Judkins, Dobbins. Yeah, they're pretty close. I'm going to go JK. I think Dobbins has a better chance of scoring a touchdown than Judkins. They both could, but I'm going to go JK there, Daniel. Patrick on X, Olave, Kamara, Hutton, Downs, or Jennings. I'll go Kamara. Brad Smith, Bo Nix, or Caleb. Yeah, that's Caleb for you, Brad. David, you're just making me sad, okay? They're going to score. Jordan Mason's going to score a touchdown, whether he likes it or not. Survivor fan, Butte, Trey Tucker, or McNichols. I would go Tucker there. Joe on X, Godwin, or Ertz. I would go Zach Ertz there. If you can, avoid Godwin in his first week back. Tiff knows. Goff or Mariota would be Mariota. Pick 2, A.O. Manor, Gordon, or McCaffrey. A.O. Manor and Gordon. CBS does 10-point rushing touchdowns, eh? Yes, Ben. It makes it very complicated. Skews everything. It makes it almost impossible to draft. Yeah, my team last year I won. I had Derrick Henry though, and Jaden Daniels, so that helps. This week I have this year I have Jaden Daniels, but no real running backs. Brees Hall and Judkins if he can turn on, but I don't have that elite rushing touchdown guy. So real rough, Ben. I feel your pain. Fantasy fits, flex T-Mac, or my every week bench mistake, QJ. QJ is always a hard one to put in the lineup. We can never trust him. After 3 years of pain and misery, it's hard to click that start button there. But I think I'd go QJ. Fantasy fits. And then watch, we'll be wrong. It'll be T-Mac week, right? But yeah, I'm going to go Quentin Johnson. Yeah, well, David, I don't care, okay? I still want them to score a touchdown. All right, it will happen. They will power it through it. It is a tough one, fantasy fits. I would easily say T-Mac, but with Gonzalez coming back, very, very, very concerned. Gonzalez is a different animal out there at corner, and I know the Patriots have been vulnerable, but I don't think that will be the case anymore. Also, Bryce Young, defensive line, the Patriots get some pressure, so I'm a little concerned. QJ against the Giants, I think that weak secondary, Herbert and that Chargers offense is just humming, so I'm just going to ride it for sure. See, Marcus, we're going to manifest this. A rushing touchdown for Jordan Mason. That's what we're going to manifest here. Between David, Marcus, and myself, it's going to happen. Stella on X, Ingram or Pitts. Go Kyle Pitts. Evan Ingram. Ash on X. Terry is out. Do I start Kareem Hunt, Troy Franklin, or Krosky Merritt? I will go Troy Franklin there. Ben, Fergie, or Kraft? Yeah, you can go Fergie, baby. Flex spot, BTJ, Pickens, or Pollard. I will go Pickens for you there, Ben. Gonzo the kicker. That's it. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you. Marcus, quick on a fantasy trade. Would you trade Nico for Brees and BTJ? No. Nope. Unless you really need running back, Marcus. Sure, maybe I could see it. But I just don't expect BTJ to bounce back a ton this year. I think he's gonna be a wide receiver too. So depending on the overallity of the roster, I would probably say no. It could work out. I guess that's how every trade works, right? For 2 for 1. Usually, though, if you're giving up the 1, it's usually the better player. And it's not like Nico is like a surprise. Like if it was Quentin Johnson, sure, like okay, there's a chance that falls off. But Nico is only going to get better, I think, here as the season goes on. So I'm going to ride Nico Collins still. Sammy Boy, Dobbins or Javonte Williams would be Dobbins for me. 2 of my favorite players to ever set foot in the draft room. Got their jerseys across the wall here. You can't see them, but yeah, Dobbins and Javonte. 2 pour outs for, but having a good year this year. So, but I'm going JK over Javonte, Sammy Boy. Greg Eckert, Jennings, or Jamison Williams. I'll go Jamison Williams. I think, like I said, it seems like there's a chance he finds something against this Cleveland defense. But Solak, May, or Fields, I will go Drake. May. Jack Durkin, Herbert, or Bo Nix, both in similar situations. Should both have a pretty steady hand in that game. But I'm going to go Justin Herbert. I think they throw a little bit more than Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos do. Saul, which 2 out of Jamar, Rome, A.J. Brown, Quentin Johnston? So Jamar and Rome. Just playing Pearson wants to know if he should also play Jennings. I wouldn't play both. No, David. I'd go Josh Downs or Fannin. I probably lean to Josh Downs. Rams have a pretty good pass rush. Might have to get the ball out a little quicker, which might be more of a Josh Downs game than a Michael Pittman game. So that's where I'm going to go there. Dashmack, Tucker, or Henderson? Ooh, that's a tough one. Henderson. I'm going to go Henderson. I'm going to believe the weekly bladder and wire and reporters and practicing order, we'll call it, for lack of a better term that I can't think of right now. I'm going to believe it. I'm going to go Henderson. We'll say it's his week to have a decent fantasy game. Daniel, Kraft, or Ferguson? Ooh, Ferguson. Daniel. I think Kraft's hurt pretty good. Well, I shouldn't say think. We know he's hurt, but I think he's hurt more than they're leading to. So shouldn't need him in this game a ton. They should be able to expose the secondary with the receivers. So I'm going to go that route of Kraft's not going to have a huge day. And I'm going to go Ferguson just because they're going to have to use him. So Marcus, you're welcome. And Dash Mac, you are also welcome. Bobby on X, Wandell Robinson or Darnell Mooney. I'll go Wandell. Leave a little bit in the rookie there in Jackson Dart. Maybe you can make something happen, right? Emily on X, Pickens in both. Pickens versus QJ, Pickens versus Judkins or Hall. So I would go Pickens and Hall in those situations, Emily. Jacob on X, got Bucky, Cook, and Chase starting. What two do I start between Adams, BTJ, Pickens, and Tet? That would be Adams and Pickens. Jacob. Zach Wildote, Brian Thomas Jr. or DJ Moore would be DJ Moore. Tiff knows, I think I got that one for you already. Stella, you are welcome. Brad, you are welcome. Rob, Henderson, Franklin, or Ridley. I will go Henderson there for you. Lacey, Peru, London, Jacoby, or Judkins. I'll go Jacoby Myers. I will say this: my early rankings for early projections for Jacoby Myers this week had him at like wide receiver 7. It toned down a little bit. There's a good chance Jacoby Myers has a big day today if he can find the end zone. So, go Bills is right, Daniel. Duh, go Bills. Like, do we even gotta say it? We do, and hopefully they don't put the letdown. Everybody's always saying, there's going to be that one game that catches them, and it'll happen. It's not going to be this week, though, I don't think. I was saying, I think it's Carolina they have before the Chiefs. That's where I think the Bills will stumble. That trap game, as we like to call them. The week before the Chiefs, I could see being a little bit. But other than that, I'm riding this out. I think they're gonna cook. So if you have a Bills player, start him. If his name's James Cook or Josh Allen. Ash Franklin or Engram. Franklin. We saw, and obviously he's been nursing an injury kind of all season here with Evan Engram, but until I see it from him, like, I'm not rushing to start Evan Engram. No, the allure's there, pedigree, former production, you name it, everything and anything you want to point to exists, but I'm going to proceed with caution with Evan Engram. Not going to shove him in there. I'd rather go with Franklin. I know it was a bad week last week, but I think there's potential that we see a little bit of a bounce back, neutralization of that passing attack, and a little less condensing of it. So, Marquise, Pittman, Debo, or Drake. Pick 2. Ooh, that's a good one. Debo and Drake London would be my 2. There for you, Marquise. KGC Flex for 1 league. Trey Tucker, Diggs, Mooney, JCM. Flex for another, Swift, Ridley, Dubes, Manor. So I would go Tucker in League 1. League 2, I would go with Dubes. Poppy. What's up, Poppy? Golden or McMillan? Ooh. I may not have gotten your question. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But doesn't matter. I'll re-answer it for you. No worries. I would go Matthew Golden. Yeah, I'll risk it with Golden. It's a little bit of a risk, Poppy. It's an upside type of play, hoping that hits. McMillan probably has a little bit more safety to it, but McMillan's going to have Christian Gonzalez blanketed all over him today. And the advantage that McMillan has is the size and the ability to go at the football, which McMillan or Gonzalez is a taller corner, Poppy. So I would go Golden. I think McMillan doesn't pair up well against Gonzalez where he does against other corners that are a little bit shorter, a little bit in stature. Gonzalez is kind of the guy that you would draft to defend McMillan and the larger perimeter receivers. So I'll go Golden here. I think McMillan could be in for a little bit of a dud this week. Garden OFBS, Pearsall or Dobbins. I will go Dobbins there. Just for the vibes, 2 questions. Need 2 quarterbacks. Superflex League, Purdy, Mariota, Gino, Flacco. So that's Purdy and Gino. And then need 2 flexes. Jennings, Judy, Jameson, QJ, Montgomery. So that would be QJ and Jameson Williams there. Doug, morning. Standard scoring, Jennings, Bill, Keenan, Keon, or Burden. I will go Keon there. So Cody's asking Gonzalez rewind, speaking verbs. The question about Godwin versus Ibuka and why. So basically what I just mentioned was Gonzalez versus T-Mac. So I would play Ibuka over T-Mac. You're welcome, Bobby. Okay. Sorry, my brain was wrapped around that one for a second there. All right, Grizzlies in 8, start 3, London, Neighbors, Rome, or Tet. So again, Neighbors, London, and Rome. Yeah, not sitting either of those 3. Let's see here. Dynasty Sports Fan, would you rather add Golden or Wandell in redraft than start either over Adams? I would stash Golden if you can, but I'm not playing him over Devontae Adams this week. Z, Chuba or Jameson Williams. That one I would go Chuba there for you, Z. Daberstein, any trust in Godwin this week? Any is a very broad word that I'll say there's some. Not a ton. I will say that could be a week that he has some production, but I'm not sold that it's going to be an explosive week from Chris Godwin. I think they're going to ease him in. They're going to use Ibuka. They're going to use Sterling Shepard and the likes of the rest of that crew. But I don't think that we're going to see a goose egg. I think we see a couple receptions, 50 yards or so, unless he breaks a big one. Not enough to start him, Daberstein, if that's really where you're going with that. If you have like him or Taquan Thornton, sure, I'll start Chris Godwin. But if you're going between like Godwin and Matthew Golden, we're going Matthew Golden for now. But David, you are welcome. Used to be my mentality too, David, until I joined way too many fantasy leagues, and now players I'm going against are players I also have, David. So, but I get you. Much like Jordan Mason, we're gonna continue to manifest that, David. We need that Jordan Mason touchdown. I'm just saying. Okay, yeah, I'm going Christian Kirk, Daberstein. Kirk obviously coming back last week. I like what we saw last week. Also, another week in the system, getting a little bit more football shape, quote unquote, air quotes. And I think that they're going to throw enough against this team against the Titans that Kirk should have a decent day. Reset season. Good morning. Oh, whew. Aaron on X. Would you start Daniel Jones or Brock Purdy? We're going Brock Purdy. He's back, folks. We got to start Brock Purdy now. He's back. Okay, let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, one more, David. Is QJ legit? Too legit to quit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I like Quentin Johnson. I think you're starting to see something that's been a thing in football for a long time that has seemingly gone away in the past few years, but development, that happens. So I would say he's legit enough to be a fantasy viable player. Like, is he going to potentially get any better? Is he the next Nico Collins? Like, no. But he's a very viable, good quality football player right now. That's just what he is. He's got the talent. He's got the tools. We've always known that. And it seems like the technical side of the game that he was lacking has caught up now. And yeah, I mean, is he an every week starter? No. But is he more than likely is he more than likely a high flex player weekly? Yes. So I think he's definitely in that game. Gives the team something that they don't have outside of Trey Harris, which is a little bit bigger kind of perimeter-esque type profile. So yes, I think he will be sticking around for a good portion of time here with Quentin Johnson. Reset season: Judkins, Henderson, T. Higgins, or Golden at flex. Chuba, Ridley, Pierce. Oh wait, okay. Whoa. Oh, okay, two different questions here. Okay. I would go Judkins on the first one, and then I would go Pearsall on the second one. Reset season. 12th man bleeds on X. Henderson or Jennings? I would go Henderson there. Alrighty. I didn't check. We didn't make it to the inactives yet because we have been busy answering questions. Our whole purpose for being here. Oh, we got some more. Okay. So we got 4 Go Canes on X. Kelsey or Kraft? I would go Kelsey. Debo Samuel or Alec Aomanor? I would go Debo. I know it was not an ideal week last week, but I expect a little bit of a bounce back. ETN, McMillan, Pickens, Samuel, Rondo, Robinson, Tucker, Kraft, pick 3. So Pickens. I guess McMillan here amongst this group. And Debo as well. Kincaid or Johnson? I will go Johnson. I do like both of those tight ends, so for anybody listening. McMillan, Godwin, or Pickens. Pickens. Goff or Love? Would be Love. Okay. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, where is it? It's not here. Inactive. Let's see. Anybody surprising? Whoa, Spencer Brown. Matt Milano. So again, Milano not being in, good thing for Juwan Johnson. If you're listening and considering Juwan Johnson. Let's see here. Panthers, just Tavian Sanders. Probably wasn't starting anyways. Chargers, nothing exciting. Texans, nope. Lions, nope. Browns, nope. Conklin's interesting, but Vikings are already playing. Patriots, nope, nothing. Saints, nothing. Chase Young, oh, jeez. Devin Neal, pour one out. Gosh dang. Loved me some Devin Neal. Sad to see. Giants, no Tracy. Eagles, nope. Seahawks already played. Tampa, no. Washington, no. Already expected. Titans, nope. Nothing surprising for the inactives, so we won't talk about those. Joseph on X, Nix, or Baker. I would go Bo Nix there. Pretty close. Nix obviously has easier matchup in Cincinnati. Baker's got Philly. I do expect Philly and Tampa to be a little bit of a back and forth, but I do think Nix probably is a little bit of a safer play on Monday night against Cincinnati. Also get that fun last player in the last player left. Always gives you the fun chances of potentially, coming back on the Monday Miracle. So it's always fun. Drew Nagata, good morning. 2 quarterback lead. Stafford is in the first slot. Crazy start Dart over T-Law. No, I would do it. Yeah, I'd start Jackson Dart over Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I'm not like pushing Trevor Lawrence into my lineup, but when you're talking about Trevor Lawrence versus Jackson Dart, I'll take the rookie. Might be a bumpy game, but he's got some legs. Might find the rushing touchdown in there for Dart. So yeah, why not? Where's David when we need him? And Mason, are you guys here? Marcus, David. Here comes our touchdown. This is where we're coming. 3rd and 4. Come on, Carson Wentz. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, was he in? Was he in, folks? Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Who is Xavier Scott, David? Oh man, I mean, he was so Wentz. Why did you throw it at like the fucking last second? God. Made that catch way harder for that poor. That was impressive though. It's got to be a fullback, right? Anybody know? I don't even know who Xavier Scott is. 36, 38. Got to be a fullback. That was impressive. Did he actually catch it though? Because he bobbled it. That's not going to be a touchdown. No, he bobbled it. We'll see. We'll see what they have to say. We'll see what the NFL has to say about it. Let's see here. Jeff Herbert on X. Need one of wide receivers, Adams or McMillan. Flex Scadaboo, who is not in the wide receiver spot. Whoa, so confused. Need one at wide receiver. Oh, then one for flex. Okay. Adams and Scadaboo. I guess it counted. Definitely looked like he bobbled that. I don't know if anybody's watching the game, but Fabian, Judkins, or Pearsall. I'm gonna ride Judkins. I'm gonna ride the hype. I'm gonna ride it. Why not? I'm gonna have some fun. Some fun. Go down with the ship. Go up with the ship. I'm in on it. I'm here for the Quinshawn Judkins breakout game. Large part because I need to manifest it as well. Could use him to have a big day. For selfish reasons, everybody. Selfish reasons. All right? Has to happen. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see here. B-word Drippenham. It's a fun one, right? Devontae Smith, Trey Tucker. I would go Devonta Smith. JT, Trey Tucker, Chase Brown, Jennings, or Chubb. I would go Trey Tucker. Defense, Chargers or Bills. I would go Chargers. Pickens or Javonte Williams for Oliver Brown would be Pickens. Yeah, David, not helping the Jordan Mason fun. Okay, let's see here. Na, 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 na. Trey, what's up? Wisdom, we'll call it that. We're gonna wisdom. I'll give you the best wisdom I got here. We'll see here. Half PPR, Franklin Ridley, Isaiah Likely, Woody Marsh, Rodriguez, or Tillman. Again, oh, that's a tough one. Man, I'm making it easy here for me. So we need one flex. I'm gonna say Franklin. Seems like the easiest matchup, most likely to potentially have a blow up type of game. Ridley against Houston is tough secondary, struggling already. Say a likely first game back, not excited. Woody Marks is intriguing of this group. So I'd go between Marks or Franklin. I just lean to Franklin because we've already kind of seen the big games from him this season. So yeah, I'm going to go Franklin. But if you're leaning towards Woody Marks or have any gut feelings, I would go with Woody Marks. Oh. Pickens and Ladd, I'd be George Pickens for sure there, Shrey. Pretty easy on that one. The other one, not so easy, but that one was almost like the layup. User. Lawrence, Mariota, Tua, Penix, or Bryce Young, Superflex QB2 would be Mariota. Man, Pittsburgh is imposing their will on this Minnesota defense. You're welcome, Trey. Dun, 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 dun. Seems like we're drying up a little bit here. Okay. Let's see here. Hopefully, you guys added Jalen. Or, oh my God, Jalen. Oh my, man, I can't speak right now. Kenny Gainwell, amongst those words there. 2 touchdowns. Shoot. Explosion there with no Jalen Warren. If it's long term, man, we got to have Kenny Gainwell on the roster. Bateman Dobes, Hunter Jawan Jennings would be news for me for Dynasty Hub. Who would you start? Kareem Hunt, Krosky, Merritt. I would go Hunt there for Marco. Tony, Javante, or Olave would be Olave for me. Never mind. Sit one. Genty, McMillan, or McConkey would be Ladd for me. I wouldn't say they're frauds. I think they have a really good system, and they're playing in Dublin, David. Let's be honest. We always see those outlier games like this. Kenny Gainwell's about to score his 3rd touchdown by the looks of it, and win people fantasy weeks that decided to start him. Should have added him this morning. I thought about it, and I didn't. Should have, could have, would have. Marcus, that's a tough one. Favorite handcuff running back. As far as handcuffs that would be full-on handcuffs with an injury, probably Ray Davis. I think we've seen it from the Bills. He's kind of a plug and play for James Cook when he goes down. Other than that, I mean, Braylon Allen's intriguing if Breece Hall gets moved, but I don't think that's actually going to happen. Like, I think they've kind of figured out Breece Hall's better than Braylon Allen, so hopefully that continues to trend that direction. You've also got Rashad White, probably. He's a plug and play for Bucky Irving if he goes down. Ollie's not bad, Marcus. I like Ollie, but he's not really a handcuff because if Achane goes down, Achane does stuff that Ollie Gordon doesn't. So it's likely you would just see kind of a mix of other running backs. Jalen Wright would probably get involved and stuff like that once he's back. So not really a full handcuff. When you're looking for that like favorite handcuff and like a quality handcuff, you want a guy that's going to take over the majority of the role. A la Rashad White, Ray Davis, Tyler Algier, stuff like that. Ollie Gordon's a good player to have on the roster, don't get me wrong. And his role would expand with no Devon Achane, but he's not like the handcuff in air quotes. So, yeah, I mean, I like your running backs you already got. So, David going up. Well, you got lucky, David. Just wait. There'll be questions throughout the day where they're going to say, yeah, but there was a late negative. I was asleep, blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to watch. They may change it on you. Hopefully not. But Zach will do it. DJ Moore or Brian Thomas Jr. DJ Moore, Zach. Pretty simple for there. No problem, Marcus. Anytime. Stop in and we'll talk about it more. Shoot me a question on Twitter, Marcus, if you want. I can of the options you're choosing between, I can always answer. I'm always try to within a fair amount. But started Benson Thursday night in a 2 out of 3 Hubbard, Brown, or AO Manor. Hubbard. Whoa, if I could type, and Brown. Ross Borey, need one wide receiver and a flex. Genty, Pearsall, Ferguson. Genty and Pearsall. For me there. Triple S, Judkins, or Henderson. Judkins. I'm buying it. I'm riding it. Riding the wave. 100% riding the wave. Oh, here we go, David. Here's the 5th touchdown for Kenny Gainwell. Oh, I think they stopped him. Oh. About to get interesting. The manifestation continues, David. One more chance. Alrighty. David, I think we're going to have to watch the end of this one solo, though. Not going to lie. Dynasty Sports Fanatic, T-Law, or Bryce Young. Ooh, I'll go Bryce Young. There. Adios, David. As for David, who rides along me for a while, so much appreciated, David. Questions have died out. I'm going to call it. Wave the white flag. Get ready for some Bills football, some red zone football, and some other fun games. So hopefully all our odds are in our favor here. Hopefully these suggestions work out. Hopefully we all have a fun fantasy weekend. And remember, it's all just a game. It's all for fun. I know there's some money on it, in some of those leagues, but it's all for fun. Enjoy it. Hopefully the advice pans out. Make sure you come back again next week, 11 a.m. Same spot, same time. Lots of fun here to answer any of those questions you'll have. Week 5 will get even tougher. And as the season goes on, the questions will rise. We'll get those bye weeks in there. It'll be a ton of fun. Just come hang out. Either way, whichever. Come say hi, whatever you want to do. But until then, good luck. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Take care.